Welcome back to Master Guitar, where you can learn how to master guitar. Alright, so coffee talk. Here's my coffee. Coffee interlude. There, now the lights aren't quite so irritating. Alright, so changes to the channel. A couple of things. Number one, I'm trying to talk my wife into editing all my videos, which would mean I could create a lot more content, because what's slowing me up is the editing process. So brief talk, and if you're seeing this video, basically what's going on is that if you're seeing this video, I've already made a decision that I'm switching the video editing software. So let's talk about the video editing software. Back in the 2000s, I was in a band, and we did, made some music videos, live shows. We played a place that was, right about 1,000 people or so. It had a balcony, and if the balcony was open, that meant the floor area was sold out, and so that usually meant you had at least 500 people in there, and the balcony was filled up, so that meant we were at about 1,000 people. And we filmed that show live, and I don't have the video of that anymore. I got rid of all of my video from that band, but at one point I had spent, I think, 2 weeks making a music video off of one song that was right about 7-8 minutes long. Had a very great live part, and we basically took compilations of all the effects and stuff we did on stage. We had pyro, and back then you could have pyro, and we had just this huge show, and we wanted to put it all in the video and all the highlights of the show into one video, and everything was going good. But the very end of the song, I was trying to cue the music cuts, the video cuts to the music, and I ended up with a problem. And here, let me take you through what happened. Is we started with ULEAD video, because I got that with I don't remember how I ended up getting that, but I ended up getting ULEAD video, and okay, it was cool, we'll try it. And it was kind of a little clunky, and I didn't like it. But then the upgrade came out, and that was a lot better. But then I tried a couple others, and I wasn't satisfied. And then I got Pinnacle, and Pinnacle was really good. The problem with Pinnacle is it came out long before its time. It's kind of like people who bought Vegas back in the day, Sony Vegas 5.0. The hardware had not caught up to software at that point. So what ended up happening was, I ended up searching, and I guess Wondershare had paid Google. If someone was searching and got through 3 pages of hits, because that's about how many it took. I was on my 4th page of Google hits and returns from trying software. No, that is not any good. Oh, that's crap. I don't understand Blender, so I have no idea how to use it. That kind of thing. And they put up a thing for you click here for a free license to Wondershare Video Editor 3.0. So I did that, and I tried it, and wow, this is pretty good. So I used that to make a couple more music videos and started working on my music projects and stuff, and it was pretty good. And then I got a little twitchy on it, because I don't know, it's a Chinese company. I don't know what they're putting on my computer, so I deleted it. And then I tried, which is really kind of silly, because I'm sure most of the video software I was getting were all made in China. The next one I tried was it's the more popular one, the Cyberlink Power Director, or Meteor Director. I'm not sure which it's called, but that was, I tried that, and they kept cutting out features. When you offer video editing software, and your license includes these features, and then you put out an upgrade, and one of those features you'd given me, you take away, that's an immediate call for me to stop using your software. You should have had a focus group to decide beforehand what features you are going to, just the thought, if you've got a business, if you're gonna, what do we offer for free, and then what do we offer as paid upgrades? Have a focus group, and get, at what point would you buy this? Would you buy it if it had this? And if you have a lot of no's, then you need to add more features. When you start getting to your point where you're, 50-50, people, you finally start getting a 50% saying yes, they would buy it with just these features. That's good. Keep it at that. Don't change that. If you try to upgrade later, people aren't upgrading, that should have been part of your focus group. Okay? Just saying. So, stopped using Cybermedia because they kept taking things away. They took away my license, so all of a sudden I was back to Shareware. And I don't know how that happened. I contacted them, and they're like, well, do you have a paid receipt? Of course not, I bought it online. That was the bottom line with them. Cybermedia, if you're wondering why I haven't given you any more money in the last, I don't know, 10 years, that's why. So then I decided I was going to put Wondershare Video Creator back on, and it turns out they changed the name to Filmora. So I've been using Filmora this whole time. Filmora was great. You know, they let me come back in at Filmora, I guess 7 or 8. It was the one after they had the separate screens. For this one's the one you want to put if you're going to use a green screen and drop it. And you use this one for if you're going to do the titles on it. And they just made it open, so they're all good. That's when I came back to Filmora. And my free license was still good. So bonus. They did not have to honor my free license. And if they'd said, yeah, I don't know, we'll give you 30 days, but then you got to decide if you want to pay for it, I probably would have been okay with that. I might not have. I might have gotten irritated. I don't know. I get irritated too easy sometimes. And then, you know, that was good for, I guess, 7, 8, 9. Then around Filmora 10, which they're just putting as Filmora X for a while, but, you know, those of us who've been using it knew it was called Filmora 10. They told me, at this point, you have to pay for the license. You know, it's been too long, you know, using the free license. And my thought at the time was, I probably should have stuck to my guns on this, but my thought at the time was, yeah, that's fair, because you'd upgraded me several times when you didn't have to. The license agreement I had for the free license was that I could only use it for Wondershare Video Creator 3. Once it got to 4, I'd have to pay for a license. Okay, that was fine. And you honored it for several more years, possibly 6 or 7 years. You know, got to Filmora 10 and you said, okay, no, you got to buy the license. Now I'm wondering how many people, at this point I'm wondering, I hadn't thought of this before, but how many people had bought Wondershare Filmora at version 3 or 4 and were told at Filmora 10, okay, you have to pay to upgrade again, you have to buy your license all over again. I don't know for a fact that happened. If that happened to you, please leave a comment and say, yes, this happened to me. Because this would be great to find out how many times Filmora has done this. Well, recently, I bought the lifetime license. Quote, lifetime. My lifetime or Filmora's. Getting back to Filmora, they told me, you know, recently, you may have to pay for an upgrade. I upgraded to the latest version, Filmora 12, and I got a, you know, your license includes this upgrade. Yes, of course it does, because it's a lifetime license. If you come out with Filmora 23 or 24 or 99, my lifetime license covers that upgrade. But I'm wondering how many times Filmora has done this where people have bought quote lifetime unquote licenses and it isn't a lifetime license. It's only for that version. That's kind of what you get with Reaper, but you know, Reaper is, you know, they take forever to get from Reaper 3 to Reaper 4 and from Reaper 4 to Reaper 5, so it's basically a 3-year license when you buy it. So don't be too upset about that if that's the case, you know, with Reaper, because they're honest about it. They say it's good for Reaper 3 or it's good for Reaper 4 or whatever they've got now, Reaper 7, don't know. You're buying for the lifetime of Reaper 7. And then once it gets to Reaper 8, you got to buy it all over again. But they're pricing it so low that, you know, you might as well just go ahead and buy it. Filmora has changed. They were $40. They originally were $30, but they upgraded to $40 right about Filmora 10, so I paid $40 for a lifetime license. It's now up to $70. You have priced yourself out of the market here. $70 is a little too much to pay for Filmora. The only thing I liked about Filmora, and don't get me wrong, I'm not looking for cheap video software. I know how to use DaVinci Resolve. But DaVinci Resolve for, you know, the full license to create 4K video is $300. And, you know, it's, right now you just get the 1080. That's okay, I mean, it looks great. The only problem with DaVinci Resolve, and people who have used like a Premiere Pro say the same thing, is that there's too many steps, or it's too slow, or it's just too clunky to try to use DaVinci Resolve all the time. I remember trying to edit my first video that I was going to do in DaVinci Resolve, and it took 3 days later. I was still only a quarter of a way into it with all the edits I had to make, and I was like, this is insane. So I just started all over again in Filmora, and I got it done in an hour and a half, and that was perfect for me. Okay, great. I need to be able to get video out there, and I need to get it out there fast. So recently, with this new thing with Filmora, your license include this, and it may incur a charge to install this update. Well, it didn't incur the charge, but may incur a charge, and your license includes this upgrade. Tells me the lifetime license is no longer lifetime because they're trying to move everybody onto a subscription model of paying per month for Filmora, and they're charging more than Premiere Pro. So my thought was, I'd been thinking about moving to a more upscale professional video editor. And I was thinking maybe I'll go back to DaVinci Resolve, but then putting DaVinci Resolve back on my computer and starting to work with it again reminded me why I'd stopped in the first place. I love it. It's great software, but you guys have got to work on your workflow on that thing because it is too slow. I should not take 2 days to do a single video. I shouldn't. You know, if you guys, I'm sure you guys who are Resolve, trainers, licensed Resolve trainers, probably can pump out, take one of my videos and do all the edits and cut out all the little ADHD-isms and the ums and uhs and the coughs and the touching my nose and the all that stuff. You probably could cut that out in 25 minutes, maybe an hour. I can't. I would have to use Resolve for months and months and months and months and months to get that fast. I still remember all the fast keys very good because they were the same fast keys Filmora used. So now I'm having to learn them all over again in Premiere Pro. So if you're watching this video, I've upgraded to Premiere Pro. The workflow takes a little getting used to. It's different fast keys. I'm sure you could go in there and edit them and change them. But then if you're going to use someone else's Premiere Pro, you won't know the fast keys. And so go ahead and learn the fast key combinations that Premiere Pro uses, the workflow. I've got the media encoder. I'm trying to get used to that. Porting my videos, all my edits over to the media encoder, and then using that to do all my stuff and how to crop and edit video. That turned out to be very fast. Once I got the hang of it, you just take the crop, you can just quickly search for it. If it's going to be in the video properties, you just click on it, crop, drag it down, drop it on the timeline, go to the upper right hand corner and the essentials, and now you can do FX, edit FX. And what you do is you take the effects. Now I'm going to probably drop everything 22%, 22%, 22%, 22%, and 22%, and it almost has it all perfect, and then I can kind of fiddle around with it from there. But I need to make sure that my total edit amounts to about 44% of the picture I'm cutting out. And that's just when I'm doing shorts. When I'm doing this, I don't know, I'll probably bring it down, I don't know, maybe 12%, and then 12% on my knees. I end up filming my whole body and then just cutting it back in the video. And then once you do that, 22% on all four corners, all four sides, and then go to the bottom. Underneath that, a zoom check box is enabled. You click on that, now the video pops in with all the edits made, and it's fast. I've gotten used to that. Shift delete is what causes your ripple delete, and that's important because that saves a lot of time. When I use my razor blade cut, go to my pointer icon, click on the video, and then I just shift key delete, and it ripple edits that out. And now everything's moved over and it's a lot faster. Go to save it and you're good. Port it over to media encoder so that way I can get used to the professional way of doing things, and just in case I ever get involved in someone else's project of video editing, I got it. I just need to show my wife how to do it. So that's that update. The next update you're going to see is, of course, I think I've settled on this is how my room's going to be. I don't know if I'm going to be doing the green screen anymore. I still got it. I still have a lot of green screens back. I have green screen backgrounds you haven't seen yet. And one of the things I wanted to do is like get the Port Miriam whales to show behind me, and I was going to get like a the prisoner outfit, the black jacket with the white piping, and wear the loafers with no socks on it, and then I could also have a original series Star Trek uniform and have the bridge of the USS Enterprise behind me. I mean, I may still try it, putting the green screen behind me and see how that works. And let's see, what's the last thing I wanted to talk about? Oh yes, going to film all of my videos after this date. I'm going to film every video I do 3 times and put little bits of pauses in between when I'm filming, and this won't affect what you're seeing mostly, but I talk rapidly, and there are times where I'll go on some tangent after making a point, and now I got to cut that tangent out But what ends up happening is you'll hear the end of a syllable get cut off. You may have noticed it, you may not. You may think this guy's spastic. And that's because I'm going off on some tangent and I decide later, yeah, that really wasn't germane to the discussion. So if I film everything 3 times, my stops and gaps will be different. And I'll cut out a lot of the tangents because I've gotten it out of my system the first time. And the second time I'm just doing the video again. It means a little bit more editing, and it means now I've got A, B, and C videos. I can cut and edit and drop those in and just have them on the timeline and delete what I don't need, have a better compiled copy, and go from there. It also means wearing the same clothes a lot more for filming. This may be it, this may not be it, we don't know. And I think that's about it. So anyway, that's what's going on with the channel. And again, you'll see me, I had talked about this before, I may be going back and redoing a lot of my old original videos, because I've noticed a lot of guys that after they stole some of my ideas, you know, when you have 2 million subscribers and you steal ideas from a channel that has 30, that's pathetic. Comment, like, subscribe. If you have any thoughts and ideas, what you would like to see out of the channel, leave it in the comments. If there's stuff that I do that drives you nuts, put that in there. I want to make better videos for you. And one of the things about it is that you can only play crappy songs for so long. At some point, you have to be a guitar player. You have to learn improvisation. And improvisation is not just chords, it's guitar solos. I mean, let's look at the guys who played guitar in the 50s, the jazz greats, you know, Herb Ellis, people like that. You know, oh my goodness, there were some really amazing guitar players in the 50s who played jazz, and they played guitar solos. And, you know, so you have to learn how to play guitar solos. It's a bottom line. Forget the backlash against hair metal bands. The backlash against hair metal bands is actually a myth. It was created by MTV to justify why they took metal off. Do you know why they took metal off and replaced it with grunge? Because the guy who bought MTV around 1990 hated heavy metal. Bottom line. It was the single most popular music genre on MTV at that time. And overnight he got rid of it and replaced it with grunge. And lots more rap. And seriously, that's the answer. Music was at its height when it was putting out bands by, you know, hair metal band songs. And then when they started getting into heavier bands, all of a sudden, you know, because once you started getting the hair metal bands, people started, well, what else is out there? And then you found the more substantial bands like Queensryche, Metallica, Megadeth, you know, all these other bands. And that's when people, oh, okay. So they started dropping bands like, you know, Poison, LA Guns, and started getting into, you know, Guns N' Roses. You know, Guns N' Roses is more substantial than LA Guns was. Jane's Addiction, just moving into real bands, you know, not Kicks, but, you know, the other ones. I'm not knocking you if you're like the guitar player for Kicks and you're sitting there, man, you just dissed my band, man. Well, you put out a few albums, and I remember, you know, hearing you guys and saying, oh, that's almost like a punk kind of metal, you know, very LA, very Motley Crue kind of sound. Motley Crue didn't get away from its heavy roots because they were very heavy when you listen to, you know, Piece of the Action album. Or Too Fast for Love, I can't remember what the album was called. Probably Too Fast for Love. They were very heavy at that time, you know, a real metal band. Some of the other bands that were coming out in the mid 80s, not so much. And then you had the phase around 1990 where hair metal was just totally falling apart. But anyway, I'm going to do a short right now on hair metal and we'll be good to go. So I'm going to go edit this mess and you should start seeing some changes in the channel. All right, thanks. Comment, like, subscribe. Let's get some good comments going on what you'd like to see, what you don't want to see, what you'd like to see me redo, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.